Okay, I'm going to call this meeting to order. It's April 18th, 2024 at precisely 6:30 p.m. We're starting on time. That's a good thing. Okay, first thing I'll do is call roll call. Mayor Pro Tem Sonia Villalobos. Here. Matthew McGovern.
Here.
Nick Styler.
Here.
Mike McLeod.
Here.
And Sam Clinton.
Here.
If you would please rise for the pledge of allegiance. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
And to the Texas flag.
Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
And please remain standing for the invocation. Dear Heavenly Father, thank you, Lord. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for the rain that's about to come. And Lord God, we appreciate it. We'll take it even if it floods. And we just thank you for it very much. We need it very badly. Lord God, we just praise you and thank you for Martindale and for the ability to get to serve you and to serve on city council. And we just ask for your discernment and wisdom as we govern. And Lord God, we especially thank you for the gift of salvation. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Okay, we have quite a few public comments. So the first one will be Arlene Green.
I'm here representing tax aid. I just want to let everybody know how we did for the year. We had 217 current year tax returns filed, and an additional 8 returns from prior years filed. 57% of the people that filed the tax return with us were over 60 years old, which is our target group. Our average adjusted gross income for folks was $42,263. We had refunds totaling $257,203, which meant that we put quite a bit of money back into the community. The average refund overall was $1,558. So I just wanted to give you guys an update on that.
Awesome.
Good
job.
Yes. Okay, Matthew McGovern.
All right. Matthew McGovern, you're gonna stand up?
I'm trying to. Hi, hello, Matthew McGovern, live at 213 North River Road. We talked last week and I reached out to Tommy afterwards about the repair, and I know you did a great service in trying to help this gentleman down off on 1979 with the house, is that there's actually programs where we can reach out and provide funding for these people that need work done on their house. So there's just 2 programs that you can hand out, and I talked to Tommy about handing out to the public, and hopefully we can get the city staff to help use these programs in the future to help those that cannot fix their houses or need help. The premise on most of them are weatherization of their house, but the scope of the work can exceed way beyond just weatherization. There's examples of it actually leveling houses and doing other things. And this is money that's set aside either donations and or tax money. And use an example, my brother lives in Ohio and he got $60,000 to fix his 120-odd-year-old house 4 years ago or under a similar type of a program. So it is there for a reason. Okay. Thank you guys.
Thank you.
Any other?
All right.
I'm looking for some comments.
Next speaker is Mary Beth Harper.
Lots of stuff is going on in the library. All the AARP tax aid and just heard about it. And the amount of refund money that's coming back from Martindale. The library hosted this event that came once a week, and it was very exciting things about that. Kite Day again was very successful. Okay, this year we had 173 people that attended. This didn't include the church group that came. Okay, the first year we had 109, second year was 129, last year was 149, and this year 173. So it was very, very successful. Thank you to the city for mowing Bates Park and also to allow free parking from 11 to 4. And also Sage Bank provided a grant to help us with the kite day. Okay, on April the 8th, was our Eclipse party. Okay, there were 30 adults and 17 kids in the library, not at the same time, but they were in there. They worked on a craft project. Then out here in the street, I didn't count the number of people out here. But again, because of cloudiness, fewer people are down there. We handed out about 100 Eclipse glasses. We still have a bunch that we're going to donate. And I want to thank Sam Clinton personally. He brought trash cans to both Kite Day and also to the Eclipse party.
Thank you.
Sam.
Thank you.
Okay, some other ongoing events. We have our weekly story time on Thursdays at 11. And also on Friday, it's coffee and conversation is for the adults. And that's at 11. And also there's an Annie Book Club that meets first Friday of each. Come in and talk about the book and recommend it to the others there. Okay, then the bicycle rodeo is May 18th, and I think y'all have more to talk about. The library will have a special story time and also some books and craft projects will be done. Summer readings starts June 1st and run through June 7th. Our peer support specialist, she is paid for with a grant from Libraries for Health. If anyone you know is suffering from some mental health issue, okay, call the library. This is all very confidential. And we call the library, get an appointment. She is in the library from 11 to 4 Thursdays and Fridays. But if you need some help, just call and leave a message if she's not there. Okay, we're also working on several other projects and for summer and fall, so stay tuned.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Dorothy McGovern.
Oh, no.
Come on, Betsy.
You didn't tell me what about.
Okay, hi, I'm Dorothy McGovern. I'm representing the Martindale River Advisory Committee. This Saturday, we have a citywide cleanup. The River Advisory Committee is going to be meeting at 9 o'clock in the open space across from the library. And to do a cleanup specifically around the river. So we're going to be looking at the parks, although they're pretty good. We're going to be looking at 1979. We know Skull needs some work. So if y'all are aware of any place that might need some attention, let us know. The goal is to get the trash picked up before it hits the river. Hopefully the weather will stay good enough so that we can get some of that stuff done. All supplies we're going to be provided, vest, gloves, bags, so
Stickers.
pickers.
Yeah, we have.
So just come, probably pants, long pants, and some shoes, and bring some clothes. And we're looking for as many volunteers as we can. Thank you.
Thank you.
So we're gonna have the cleanup even with the rain?
We'll get to that in just a little bit.
I know,
That's a little confusing here. Okay.
sorry.
Okay, our
Whole
next
different, whole
speaker
nuances
is
over there.
Yeah, so this mainly is like for the council because there was an email that was sent to the council. I don't know if you had a chance to read it, but it had to do with a certain proclamation. I know that before in the previous years, we didn't get notified of a proclamation. I mean, so I guess it's up to the mayor, what proclamations we get, what information we get and what we don't. And I know that we all love prayer around here, so I'm going to go ahead and counter that with something that I would like to read that I think is very important. Because those of you that know me know that these are my people. And whenever there's a certain undertone or something, then I will respond to it each time. And this, I'm going to do it in this manner. So, merciful God, we pray to you for all the men and women and children who have died after leaving their homelands in search of a better life. Though many of their graves bear no name, to each one is known, loved, and cherished. May we never forget them, but honor their sacrifice with deeds more than words. We entrust to you all those who have made this journey, enduring fear, uncertainty, humiliation, in order to reach a place of safety and hope. Just as you never abandoned your son as he was brought to a safe place by Mary and Joseph, so now be close to these, your sons and daughters, through our tenderness and protection. In caring for them, may we seek a world where none are forced to leave their home and where all can live in freedom, dignity, and peace. Merciful God and Father of all, wake us from the slumber of indifference, open our eyes to their suffering, and free us from the insensitivity born of worldly comfort and self-centeredness. Inspire us as nations, communities, and individuals to see that those who come to our shores are our brothers and sisters. May we share with them the blessings we have received from your hand and recognize that together as one human family, we are all migrants, journeying in hope to you, our true home, where every tear will be wiped away, where we will be at peace and safe in your embrace. So that's how I would like to publicly respond to that email. So just like, like I said, we just depends on which proclamations we get, but we're all aware, and especially like with SB4, I'm glad we live in a community where we're at, where I know that, people are being treated fairly and with kindness and the way that it should be. But I also know that with the population and the people that I work with, that we do have families coming here. And I think that treating with love and tenderness and kindness, that's what it is. If we open up in prayer, then we need to make sure that we're going to be praying for those that are trying to seek refuge and help. So we are the hands and the feet of, doing the work of our Lord. And I mean, the perfect example of that too is like Nick. So with him being in the community, he's the hands and the feet. So thank you, Nick. And that's all I wanted to say.
I wanted, for the audience, I wanted to clarify something. I received a proclamation from the governor earlier today and just thought I should send it on to the council. So I think that's what you're responding to. Is that
Yes.
correct?
Uh-huh.
Okay. On border security. And I just thought it was something from the governor, and so I passed it on.
And since you were going to say that, then you also as a mayor could even like respond as a mayor of our city and say that our city is, in check and we're doing everything that we should do as a community. So you could respond because that email didn't have any context. So like I said, previously we didn't get it. You pick and choose which proclamations we get. But if it has something to do with that, with immigrants, marginalized or whatever, I will always be up here saying something.
Okay, thank you.
Uh-huh.
So we're going to move on to the mayor's report. This wasn't on my list to do, but I wanted to compliment Adrian. He is an excellent boss. He was in charge of our intern along under Jared. And today was her last day, and he did an exit interview with her. And it was just an excellent job. And I just really wanted to give Adrian the praise for that.
Hey.
We're gonna miss Allison. Okay, so on to the 4th of July parade and event planning. We had an excellent meeting. There weren't very many of us, but one of the things that was really good about it was the chief came, a representative from the fire department and a representative from Gary Job Corps came. And they were able to talk about the course and where they're going to place people and safety issues. It was decided that we would close the course at 9:30. So we really have to get the word out to all the neighbors that the course will be closed at 9:30. So if you have friends coming to see you, please get them there before 9:30, or we'll have a little frustration like we did last year. So that was the main thing. And then we did talk about booze and how to handle that. And we thought maybe spreading them out. I'm working with the library on this. I've talked to Ashley Guerrero, the library director, and I think she has found me somebody who can be in charge of the booze. We'll be talking, that may or may not work out, but we'll be talking in the next couple of weeks. And then our next meeting, I put on that red piece of paper that's coming out in the utility bills that we just mailed today, will be May 22nd at 2 p.m., which is a Wednesday, for our next planning meeting. So anybody in the city who wants to come to the planning meeting, I sent an email the first time around to May 22nd, and it's here, you can have this red piece of paper too. And so, yeah, 2 o'clock. That worked pretty well for everybody, but like Angela Jimenez, because she's working, or a few people who are working, but it did seem to work pretty well to meet in the afternoon. Okay, the citywide cleanup on the weather. We've been going back and forth. We've been getting all these reports from TDM. And so we contacted TDS. They can move it to next weekend. The problem is they can deliver the dumpsters on Friday, but they wouldn't be able to pick them up until Monday. And that's really not going to work. Jared suggested maybe we can ask them about another date in May.
But why would, I'm sorry, what would?
We're worried about the rain.
Early afternoon right now.
Yeah, well, I know that, but I was wondering,
So I think it's wise to cancel it.
push it.
And because if you can feel how hot and muggy the weather is right now, there is a storm coming. It's not going to be as bad for us right here as it was on Wednesday. TDM, Texas Department of Emergency Management, sent a report that we were going to have hail and all this stuff, even starting tonight. And this morning, then I got a report, it's moved a little north and a little east. It looks like we're still going to get it, but not as bad. And watch, I'll cancel it, and then
That's all you can do though. Yeah.
and then there won't be any rain.
As much money as we give TDS, they need to be flexible.
Yeah,
I will,
well,
I will gladly call them if you want me to. I mean, I don't want to get in y'all's business, but you know, they always want our business, and, you know, we're a good customer, and, you know, they need to work with us, in my personal opinion.
By call.
yeah, before we leave here tonight, we'll write an email to them and say, you know, that's really not going to work because we can't monitor them from Saturday morning until Monday when they pick them up. We don't know if they're going to throw in tires and paint, and then the city would be charged for it. Now, we worked with them on mattresses, and they came down from $125 to $25 for queen and under, and $50 for a king mattress. And we thought, okay, we can do that. But because mattresses are the number one thing, if we don't let people put them in the cleanup, we're going to pick them up out of the parks.
Yeah, on the road,
Or
So
on the
city
road.
would pay the $25?
Yeah, the city would, yeah. And we did that last year. And it was reasonable, but when they said 125, we were like, no, we can't do that.
That's a good reason. I mean, I know we did. How long was our contract, Adrian, with them?
10 years. 10 years.
Oh, I'd say that's the discipline. I mean, every year you get this mail, say, hey, we want this out of it. But I guess we got a 10-year, but I don't know what we can stand on, but, you know, we're a good customer. They make a lot of money on us, but I'll leave it at that.
So,
So, excuse me, I was gonna say one thing, TxDOT has been doing the repaving of 1979 and all their equipment is there. It's almost right there, blocking where we normally have the dumpsters and drive up. I mean, this might give us some time to reach out to TxDOT and say, can you move that equipment off to the side or
Yeah.
something,
Good
but
luck.
That's their area.
Yeah.
They say, when we've approached them before, they say that that's, their easement.
oh, so then we could just come straight through the normal driveway where we've driven in and just put the dumpsters at.
In the field, and that's what we've done in the past, but last year, I don't know if you remember, it was rainy last year.
It's,
And we tried to do that, and we got a couple of them stuck.
Mhm.
And so there was a couple that they didn't get out of there until later. So for right now, we're gonna cancel the cleanup because of the weather, and we'll negotiate and see if they'll still give us this year's cleanup.
One thing I saw in the prohibited thing, it didn't say anything about bags of leaves or brush. It doesn't say you can bring it, or it doesn't say you can't bring it. I don't think that was mentioned.
yeah, but that, wouldn't that be a good, we shouldn't waste our.
We'll address that.
It just wasn't
Well,
addressed.
last year we put it in a pile.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, that's,
And we burned it.
yeah, no, that's great, because if you bring a bunch of branches and you try and put them in the dumpster, it just
Well, you're
flakily
We
fills
waste-
it up.
We waste space.
We waste space, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's maybe put that in there and say, if they're gonna bring brush, maybe, and I even took some and had it at my burn pile since my land was so close, but if they could separate that out, that would be nice. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so I went to a workshop that Smurf put on, Virginia Parker, who's part of our River Advisory Group, and Sam was supposed to be there.
No one ever said in
When
any
was
kind
it?
of correspondence or anything,
Oh,
where
really?
was the classroom? No, I was driving around all morning trying to find
Oh, you should have called me.
people with pencils in their hands, but I mean, it
Was it last
didn't
weekend?
say where the.
It was at Michelle Rumbart's house.
It was in the email.
Yeah, it was an email, and then I got a postcard too.
Oh,
Just call the mayor if you got a question, man.
okay.
Anyway, I was so blown away by this workshop. It was really, really good. It's like in the back of your mind, it's like you know a lot of this information, but when you hear it all verbalized, and I've got some booklets here and stuff that they gave to us to take, and they're excellent. I'm gonna keep them here in the office. But they talked about riparian cover, which of course is all of the plants along the river. And the purpose is to try and keep as many plants there so that you can retain the water and slow the flow of the river down to retain the water. And they had a man, his last name was Nelly. And that's what caught my attention, because I thought, Nelly, how could anybody from a tubing company be interested in riparian cover? So that was kind of my thought, but anyway, he was from Amarillo or something. So it was a different Nelly family. Anyway, he was really, really good. And then there was a man from Parks and Wildlife. He was also really good and gave tons of information. I'll just comment on one thing. There's comments about like the elephant ears that are not natural. And they said, be careful about removing the plants that are considered not natural, because they do retain the water. And they gave us a list of plants that are around the river and stuff. And they've given them a factor of how much water they hold. Well, the elephant ears are given a factor of 6. And so that's pretty high. So what they showed us is that you would make little paths where people can get into the river, but you leave as much of the riverbank natural as possible. And we were applauded at our parks for doing a good job with our riparian covers. So Sam,
Good job.
it's a
Sam.
good compliment.
Park expert.
Yes. And I asked Mike to talk about the party or celebration, I should say, not just party. It was a celebration that we had at Tom Goins' for San Marcos passing the single-use container ordinance.
Yeah, we had a Kanban appreciation party for people involved with the Kanban. And, it was the first time in history that we had elected officials from all three cities, San Marcos, New Braunfels, and Martindale. And, it was quite, it was awesome because Kathleen Kruger, who was married to a Senator Kruger many years ago, he's passed, unfortunately. But those people are my hero. They took it on, and it's unbelievable what happened. People's lives were threatened. People moved out of their houses. They carried guns, and for
In
this
New
camp-
Braunfels.
In New Braunfels, and they were the champions. Because the state would never do it, because I'm not gonna get into the state. So it has to be the city, and they had the courage and the fortitude to pave the trail for Martindale. And then Martindale, and then San Marcos does it. And we were just talking stories, and, my personal opinion is that we need to combine our efforts of all three cities. I'm not an attorney, I don't claim to be, but we really need to do the ETJ. Because the tubing companies, Don's and Texas State too, are huge polluters of the river. And unfortunately, they will not be affected by the San Marcos Kanban ordinance because it's a city limits only. So we need to find a way to protect the river. And as I said many times, quoted, I'm not against drinking, I'm against trash. And people, we really need to have a Kanban because it's disgusting what happens upstream of us, and it all flows downstream. But the good news, San Marcos did the right thing. That's the reason I ran for city council, and took 10 years. And if you're persistent enough, things will happen. And I can say it happened, and it's amazing that San Marcos did the right thing, and it was unanimous, and there was no contentious. And look at Martindale. And I'm so proud of this town. We have a Kanban, we have river advisory committees, we have river appreciation, so we've become a river town. And, it's great. And I hope it continues and we go forward and take care of this beautiful river. That's it.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Yeah, Jane Houston, the mayor of San Marcos, was there too.
Yes, she was there, and we had two. See, Kruger was an ex. Unfortunately, we didn't get anybody from current individuals from New Braunfels. But man, those stories were unbelievable. What those people went through. And there's just a handful of citizens that lived on the Colville River, and they wanted to protect their beautiful river. And then what's cool about it is now the tubing companies think it's great. Texas too, not Texas State, but Texas too in New Braunfels has said their business is back up. He said they have a better clientele. They have families coming. Their hotel rates are up. It helps tourism. And they have said it that, hey, if we got to do it, San Marcos needs to do it. And so San Marcos has. We have it, unfortunately, there's two tubing companies that have it. And they need to follow in. But again, it's all about the money, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay, thank you. Okay, we'll go on to city administrator report.
Yeah, so want to update city council that city court recently hired an additional municipal clerk, Mary Alice De Leon. She's a retired administrative professional from Texas State University and also has experience previously with Travis County. It's really helpful is that she's dual language and fluent in Spanish, and that helps us out as well. She's going through cross training right now with our internal court, and also she has some state level training that she has to go through. But once she's fully trained up, which we expect to happen in early mid-May, we'll open the court up for additional days in the week, 4 days a week. So that will be a good service for the community and those who are looking to pay their traffic tickets, and just want to provide an update on that.
All
Can I ask,
right.
when are we gonna have online bill pay on it?
So I'll take that for action. I don't have an answer for
I
that.
brought it up the last time the judge was here, which was a long time ago now.
They run on a separate accounting system than the rest of the city. And so it'd take a little bit of work on the court's behalf to set it up.
A lot of people that travel, now they're having to call in. That's labor intensive, as we all know, taking a payment over the phone is it's inconvenient for everybody.
Hey, where's the judge report? Where is the judge's report? How long has it been since we had a report from the judge?
That was coming.
You did that.
We asked him for his report.
When's the last time he gave us a report? When's the last time?
Just a few months ago.
A few months ago. When's the last time you've been here in person?
That was a few months ago.
Okay, we have the chief here, we have the administrator here, we have our attorney when he's required, we have our.
He's online.
He's online.
Okay, he's online. Where's the judge? Everybody else that comes, I don't get paid, you people don't get paid. We come, why can't he come?
Well, we want to know about the warrant update. I mean, it's not like,
Well, we need a report.
well, yeah, it isn't just like.
And
we
this
wanna-
is a broken record. I've asked this every time and he's not. Can you find out when the last time we came to get, yeah, a report we came?
Yeah, I can look real quick.
Ridiculous.
Anything else, city administrator?
That's all.
That's it.
Subject to your questions.
I mean, nothing
Sorry,
against,
Brigid.
sorry, Jared, it's not you, you did.
I'll send you a record of
I know
it.
where we're going.
I'll send your email record of it.
No, I just want to know. I don't have to need a record. I want everybody here.
Take some time to fund that up.
Well, like I said, y'all do your job. That's all I'm asking for. Do your job.
So we are going to move on to the city accountants.
Hello, everyone. He said he's always here, see? Every time.
Not always.
Well, you got your report.
I hope I do. There we go.
There you go. That's a report. Thank you.
All right, so there's the bank balances as of tax day, I guess. You see the general fund at 61,000, the street and road, $1,800 roughly, court restricted, 5,800, utility deposits are always around 25,000, community development, totaling 155,497 at Lockhart, First Lockhart Bank. Our investments at the PFIA, Public Funds Information Act. You see those are updated monthly as funds are transferred out of the general account into these various designated or restricted accounts. Total cash, including long-term capital fund, is $1.1 million. As of the 15th, you see how much we owe the comptroller there. So any questions on those bank balances? Okay. This is the budget versus actual year to date for the general fund. This report's gonna look a little different going forward. I think you guys know we've been changing accounting software and systems over the past 45 days or so, and this is my first finance report out of that, and it looks like I need to get the percentages on there that I usually like to discuss. But you see, we brought in roughly $350,000 of the property taxes, so only about 25,000 of that left to spend. You see the sales tax, the franchise fees there from the various utilities who utilize our rights of way. And for total tax revenue of 412,000. This is through February, by the way. Then you see licenses and permits, interest income there. Let's go on down. Look at the rest of the revenue. Municipal court fines collected there, little restitution, total income 467,760.
Hey, when you say restitution, is that with the back pay from the
The
embezzlement? Uh-huh.
Mhm. Yeah, we get money about once a quarter on that. So, what's that?
$100 in each payment?
Varies.
Sometimes they're only 50, but usually 100.
A quarter.
And so it's 29,000 or whatever it was?
I don't remember. I was thinking like 30.
Yes, just shy of 30. Yeah,
Okay.
he's 29. He's right. Yeah.
Then we get, this is what looks different on this report now. Our chart of accounts is set up in a governmental accounting standard matter now instead of just, 15 line items like we've always had. So there's going to be different sections in here. So you see one for administration. See how it starts? Those accounts all start with the prefix of 10. And so you'll be able to see like administrative expenses versus budget. I will say that, see that big budget number on payroll? That's everyone's budget. We haven't gotten that split out yet. So when we get down to police and court and the others, you'll see there won't be budget numbers there yet. But you see there's a little section for repairs, maintenance and repairs. This is not park. This is,
City.
yeah, this is like that $200. That's going to be like the guy that mows over here by Hobson Ranch. The $250, that's the exterminator who comes through after a bug crawled over my ear one day. I decided we needed one of those. And so go on up a little more. And equipment rental, that's the postage machine. Merchant fees, that's credit cards. Looks like we got a $30 bank fee at one point. Contractual, you see all of those. We're used to seeing those expenses versus budget. Then,
Equipment rental, that's the postage machine?
yeah.
That quarterly?
No, I think that's it's like $269 a quarter or something like that.
Thank you.
That's probably half a year. And then we're still seeing in prefix 10, so we're still in administration. Now we're looking at insurance, printing, various types of printing we do, supplies, postage, utilities. That's not utilities that the customers buy, that is utilities for this building. Expense, miscellaneous, and then you see the that $21,000 negative overhead reimbursement. We're used to seeing that, where the utility fund reimburses some of the costs of the building. So you see general government section. Guess that's right, 119,171. Then we get into public safety. See how much we've spent on salaries for public safety, taxes. You see the radios, vehicle maintenance, those kind of things for the police officers. On down. What do we have next? This is contractual things. Computer technology, that's their
Laptops.
no, I think this is more the software that talks between them and the court. Other agencies, that's gonna be Caldwell County Dispatch and if we have to put anyone in jail. I forget what the right term is for that. But dispatch and that. Then you see vehicle operations, that's fuel through February of this year. Utilities, they've got their own electric meter back there. They pay part of the internet. Then we get into the court expenses. You see their salaries, their maintenance and repairs, their various things there. Then we get into public works. There's street maintenance, grounds maintenance. So that's going to be generally mowing of things that also that aren't parks. Think of the triangle down here. There's various things that vacant lots that the city owns.
Yep.
Then you see culture and recreation, you see the library contract there. You see, money spent at the parks.
There you go, Sam.
What's that?
There you go, Sam.
So we spent 5,000 between October and February.
Yes. So that right there, you see that where it says governmental activities? That's the total of the expenses of the general government. The next section where it says business type activities, that's gonna be utilities. So you see payroll and benefits for the utility clerks. You see the reimbursement that is received there from the utility fund, so that zeroes out. Total expenses, $295,918. If you go down a little further, see that it comes to a net income basically of 171. In our new fund accounting system, that is going to be closed out each month and brought to zero, and there will be another report that shows fund balance. And we'll start getting more than just bank balances on each of these funds. We'll see assets, liabilities, the full picture, just like you would see at a city on their official financials. So that's the report for the general fund. Any questions that y'all didn't bring up already on that one? The next one should be the utility fund page. And, oh, no, that's those percentages. I just didn't get them on the right page.
Okay.
So go on.
Formatting issues.
Yeah. I need to look at it before I send it. Okay, here's the utility fund. Sure, my franchise fees are first, but anyway, there's a little percentage that goes on the bill for.
Solid waste.
Yeah, it's the garbage vendor. They do not charge us or reimburse us for the franchise fee to operate here. We bill that ourselves and keep it. So that's that number there. Then you see utility charges for wastewater, for solid waste, other fees, late charges, et cetera. So 136,805. Utility revenue, there's the cost of taking credit cards. That number's going down. More and more people are on the ACH program now that is free of charge to the customer and to the city. So that number is going down. So you see total income 140,415. And then you see expenses. So there's that overhead expense that the general fund is reimbursed, payroll expense, the general fund is reimbursed. And what we're going to start seeing is, see how now there are line items for payroll in here. That payroll overhead expense line is going to go away, that 12,000, and we're going to actually start seeing what is spent on the clerks at the front desk on this report. Fees and penalties, can't remember what fees those are. The moment, office supplies, utilities, electricity and such to run that's to run the lift stations and the plant. Going down a little more.
Where are the streetlights paid out of?
Those are general fund. We must have passed that one without noticing, but
No, there was a utility expense early on.
yeah, but I think it literally says streetlights, if we look closer.
Okay.
That's streetlights are $500-600 a month is what we spend on.
Yeah,
those.
street lighting, here it is. Yeah, 2,600 so far.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, now we see maintenance for the sewer. And then lab fees, that has to be pH tested and all that. So you get down to the bottom, total expense 143, so we've overspent revenue by about $3,000 through February. That one's running pretty close. That's utility fund. And then I guess we have special revenue fund, see hotel tax, sales tax, that's related to the streets. The Laos funds for police training. Then you see parking fee revenue in there. And then you see court fines and fees that these are all designated for specific purposes. And these are the ones that the city keeps. There's also a list of about that many that actually get remitted to the state, but because it's not our money, it doesn't show up on this.
Real quick question, the parking fee, that's starting to increase, I imagine, since we're getting warmer weather, is that correct?
Well, yeah, it should.
This is only through February, this report.
Oh, okay, yeah, okay.
I saw some the other day, $300 to $500. I forget what it was.
Most recent one was like 1,000.
Oh, really?
It's starting to increase a lot.
1,000, and for what period of time?
This past month, so that must have been March and so.
Yeah, that
It's almost doubled or tripled in traffic now compared to the month before.
I've seen the park start to fill up a little bit.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so there's that one. More expenses related to the court. And that's theirs. See, we have the expense for their software. That, you know, Jared mentioned earlier, they've got their own system in there for collecting the fines. Have to pay. And looks like we spent street money, a little bit of printing for something, I forget now. And I guess going down. So,
Ryan, I have a question on this child safety's expense. It's not the child safety fees that we've been collecting for a while, right?
yeah, it is, that's that. We've
Total
got,
budget for it, 600? This year, or how much do we have in that fund?
you'd have to go back up to the first page, it's on the cash, balance.
Okay, that's fine.
We haven't collected any?
I don't know that we've collected any this fiscal year.
They send it once a year, don't they?
Yeah. One year we got like 3 years worth at once.
The first time we got it.
Yeah, it was like $8,000 or $9,000. We got it one time.
Thank you.
On the one there, it says roads, bridges and sidewalks. Do we actually spend any money on the bridges or the sidewalks?
No, that's a governmental heading, you know.
Okay.
We could probably take bridges and sidewalks out, but that's the official term or.
I mean, you could leave,
account name.
you could leave sidewalks. I mean, I'd like to see some work done on the sidewalks, but I was just seeing bridges and I didn't think we spent any money on the bridges.
No. I think we've talked about working on one.
I don't know, 600.
Which,
See how that one's closed out to zero.
do we stay in budget?
What's next?
Detailed ledger.
Those are bills.
These are just the payments. You can kind of just scroll down through those. And see if anyone has any questions.
I think what I wanted to know is, I know that I had asked for the numbers from you from email. Thank you for sending them to me. But as a city, and you probably don't have the percentage right now, but like the city, say per year with the amount of money that the city gets, what is the percentage of that amount that goes to the total amounts that you sent me? Like, is it, we get a total amount that the city gets, right, per year?
Yeah, it's about $400,000 in property taxes, you mean?
Well, yes, like how much, like what is the percentage on all the salaries and everything that we're paying here? that's going out on the city budget.
Okay.
The budgetary number is, oh, let me change my.
Cause I know that, like, that's like all broken up and here and there and there.
55%.
Huh?
About 55%.
55%?
It's convoluted because of the utility. You know, so you have to be definitive about saying that we're only gonna apply the clerk's salary to
Mhm.
that. And we're not obviously gonna count the salary back here. So you're gonna say, what's the percentage? Yeah, I know you're getting,
Yes.
it's just difficult to say because there's an overlap of labor that is applied by these two gentlemen into the utility fund. A percentage, so they're taking 15, is it 15%?
So there's the salaries of the utility clerks are a straight dollar for dollar reimbursement from the utility fund to the general fund. And then the overhead expense for supplies and postage and equipment rentals and things like that for mailing. That gets a 15% of all collected revenue out of the utility fund gets reimbursed to the general fund. It's not a dollar for dollar basis. But it's a very close estimate. When we've run the numbers on it, Dwayne and I have on a couple occasions, it typically bounces around 12 to 16%. 16 being the highest, 12% being the lowest over the course of several years. Assuming that all printing costs are utility related printing costs. That's not always the case, but the vast majority of it is. So it's hard to come up with a real definitive number. If you're looking at entire operations, utility fund and general fund, that's going to be a little different. That's going to be, let's see, I got the budget up right here. Plus, default.
Yeah.
You know, why?
Well, I mean, like, it's, whenever it's all broken up, it, you know, but then whenever you're trying to like, it's a math class and you're trying to like figure out the percentage of, you know, what we were saying last time, like how it was like at the top heavy.
So it's like.
It's 46%. 46% for a combined general fund and utility fund. All salaries expenses are about 46% of all operating costs combined.
And then with,
It's all labor.
Yeah, and of those expenses in payroll, 50% of all payroll is the police department, 40% is front office administration, and about 10% is the court.
and then for the intern that, that is no longer with us, are we gonna get another intern? And then that's a paid internship, correct?
Yeah, it was a paid internship at our city minimum wage of $15 an hour. We are evaluating whether to fill that position or not. I think we're leaning towards not at the moment, but that's something we're going to be looking at further. It was intended to be a planning and zoning intern. And at the time, we had a lot of variance requests, subdivision applications, scenic corridor issues, a lot of mailings and other things that were going on. And some of that work has dried up as of late. And so we're evaluating and projecting what our future needs might be and whether that's a worthy spend or
If there's enough work.
there's enough work for someone to stay occupied. So she ended up working on other things like the dark sky brochures, and she's done some studies over the course of, not all that came to city council because there were some projects that we were working on that got folded. Like she did a pretty in-depth analysis on the environmental effects of solar panel and solar farms and put together a pretty substantial report. I don't think we ever brought that to council because that project died, right? So you didn't see all the work that she did, but it was helpful to have her, but we're looking at whether that's a continued need or not. And we'll address that further as we get into our budget year after the election. We get into June, July, and do some budget setting exercises with the council on whether to continue.
Yeah, then that'll be my number one question is the impact of the sales tax situation in our budget. So I really, we need to
as soon as you can start to get a feel for that. We need to really understand what the negative impact that's gonna be in the budget. Because I'm obviously very, very concerned about that.
And
The
then,
estimate's going to be about $20,000 to $25,000 annually,
Plus a repay.
plus, yeah, plus an additional expense.
2 years, right?
Yeah.
Repay.
Yeah.
The double debt.
Is that what y'all decided to do? Pay it back over 2 years?
Yeah,
Yeah.
there really was no other choice, really. It's interest-free loan.
and one thing, one other thing I also wanted to bring up was, with the, report that I saw, I know that one time previously before, I know how valued Carmen is, and she's still working here, correct, part-time?
No, she's retired for good.
For quite a while.
Yeah.
Because on the, on what I got, she was still listed.
Yeah, because that was based off the budget
The beginning of the year
numbers.
budget.
She's still with us at that
So
time.
someone's doing her job now, but yeah.
Okay, so she's not, no longer here.
Deanna's doing Carmen's job.
She, Carmen was just listed on the report, so that's what I was looking at. And the thing was that Carmen, for as many years as she's been here, was getting paid the same thing as a new hire, which was, kind of blows my mind, and
Yeah, well, see, before that happened, that minimum went into effect, she was making a good bit less. She got a big raise. But yeah. And I think we talked about her in here once before. She really kind of worked the hours she wanted to work. She was one of those kind of employees, but
she was
we miss her.
valued, and
Oh,
she
yeah.
came in when, you
yeah,
know,
she would come in if you needed her. Yeah.
She helped us out of numerous binds when we
Yeah.
had staffing
Yeah,
shortages.
she's great.
so I would say if she ever does decide to come back, don't start her out as the same as a new hire.
Yeah.
For the
I
year
don't
she
think
gave.
she'll come back this time, unfortunately. Anything else?
I don't think so. We're only to the Ds in the list if y'all want to look at other expenses, other checks. I'm sorry this took a little longer this time, but the reports are
Oh, they're new, so
a little more. We had I guess today we sent out the utility bills for the second time using the new system. Their clerks are getting up to speed, and I think it's all gonna work out fine. That's how we get through it. So that's all for the finance report. The audit is supposed to start again on the first week of May, I believe. We're already sending information to them. And, this was this software was the other project I had going, so the audit will be next, and then budgets and all that.
And Dwayne's information is being scanned weekly by the utility clerks so that the next audit will be easier.
Yeah, everything's digital now.
Cheaper. Oh.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, it's one of those things, I can't just throw things in a file now. I actually have to mark up what it, code it properly and everything. It's a little more work, but it's a lot less paper laying around, and I think come the end of the year, it'll be much better. Just trying to do things the right way around here.
That's good.
The last clerk, that we had, Christian, she went to the state archives and learned how to be a city document librarian, and she and Adrian set up our system, and that's what we're using for all that.
Been a lot of work.
It's really good to see a good report. Thank you.
Yeah, there will be others to come.
Well, I know, that's good.
That'll look just like the ones that you see in the newspaper, same format of all of the columns for every fund and how the money flows through them. It'll look nice by the time we get it finalized.
Okay, any more questions for Dwayne?
Thank you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Dwayne.
Come on up,
Okay.
Chief.
We'll move
What do you
on.
say, Chief?
Yes, for the police report.
Say, good.
And if y'all haven't met James, he's our code enforcement officer. And y'all said you wanted to see him, so here he is.
Sorry, my voice is not good right now, but so we had 69 citations in March, 24 were warnings and 45 were citation actual tickets. We had 3 animal calls. I'll tell you all those 2 dogs that everybody been looking for, they've both been, okay, yes, they've both been accounted for.
Oh, really?
Yes.
One of them.
They're no longer, yeah,
One of them,
Yes.
I thought one of them did make it.
yes, one of them, he's crossed over the Rainbow Bridge, but yeah, one of them got hit by a car out
On
on 80.
80.
And but the other one we were able to pick up, Kevin was able to catch the other
Dude, I
one.
tried to get those things a couple times.
I know.
So did I.
I did too.
I thought I had them for a second.
Kevin got the one and, he got her and she was good. And once he got her, she was all happy and everything.
I
but,
know that you can tell they're just old chihuahuas.
Yeah, one didn't make it, so, but they're taken care of. Anyway, we had 3 animal calls last month, 5 city ordinance contacts, 25 park checks. Our park checks are gonna go up, you know, this is sometimes coming.
Real quick, are people complying, no problem? People got the tow away, everybody's paying, good.
A little bit of
Yeah.
snafu with the Park Mobile app, but we're working our way through it with the tow company.
That's snafu.
They lost the login, so the system logins got reset somehow.
They're using a new web base for the chart that has all the parking on it. So we're coordinating with Park Mobile to get everybody who should have a login. It's a lot more professional and it's more detailed than the one before.
So we got the first set of the Park Mobile signs, like, I don't mean to be off topic slightly, but those were like reinforced cardboard plasticky stuff, but the ones at phase 1 as you drive in are starting to get brittle and break. So is it our responsibility at this time to replace these signs? Didn't they just give us one patch and
Get
then
them replaced. They don't send us a bill for those signs.
they what?
They don't send us a bill for those signs. As long as there's a work order in place, they'll send us some new ones out. I have a few of them coming in within the next few
We
weeks.
still have a few more.
So if you see any broken signs, let us know.
Yeah, it's the one as you drive into phase 1 on the right side.
Those big old ones?
Yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna have to get a board back there.
Yeah, we may need to get a aluminum.
We have to put up the rule signs too. We never installed those about the new rule signs that we purchased. So we have to put those up. I think we have those. So let's talk about that and get those up and get some more clamps and our workforce will install those.
Real quick, have we told anybody off yet?
Yeah, no.
Has not happened.
No, they've gone down. I know the record service went there and they talked to some people and people complied. But I don't think they've told anybody and we have not asked them to tell anybody. I thought about it the other night. There was a van that was down there and I pounded on the side of it and couldn't get them to answer. And if we talked to them in the daytime, they said, hey, they've been traveling all night. They're just tired. They're looking for a place to stop so they can sleep. But they didn't answer when I just pounded on their door like 2 in the morning. So. But they were parked there after hours. I thought about calling record service then. Just didn't do it. I figured I was scared of the issue. Then we had 25 calls for service, 8 incident reports we wrote, 9 assist county and EMS, 37 motorist assist citizen contacts for that's various things. 6 traffic control. We had 2 crashes last month and we 1 offense report. So on code, I won't go over all the citations we wrote, save my voice a little bit, but for code violations for the code enforcement report, I got James here to answer any questions that y'all may have for him. But I will go over the ones he did. Check for violations, properties observed from the river, that was 15 plus. What James did is, I think I explained this to you guys before. He went down the river looking for violations on the river. So he went actually in the river on a canoe and went down. So there's 15 plus. There's a lot more properties that people own on the river. So he checked on for just different things.
Right.
Did that. He gave 7 citizen contacts and code enforcement verbal notices. And we talked about all that. 2 doors hanger, 1 report. 1 report was the issue that we discussed about the person that cut the thing into the river. He did bring up a good point y'all brought up earlier about canceling this week's city cleanup. There's a lot of people that he's spoken with throughout the areas that don't use social media. So how are we gonna get that message out to these people? Tonight, he's gonna go around and talk to a couple of them and say, hey, once he knows don't have it, then say, hey, don't go over there on Saturday. We'll let you know when it's gonna come again. But I need to think about that, get that on social media as quick as we can, but maybe put up a sign down there or something.
Yeah, we should put a sign, that T-post over there, sign up.
Just to let people know when they come there, hey, it's got rescheduled or something, to come back for another day. And, do I have any questions, anything I can answer?
I have a question.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
wanted to know how much was it towing? Did that bill end up being, and is the city responsible for paying for it? Because I haven't seen that on the
On
report.
the deal that we talked about,
Uh-huh.
on that, can I talk to you about that after the meeting? Can I tell you how it happened? Because well, I'll talk to you, yeah.
Yeah, or is the city
So,
like, I just want to know how
The
much.
city's not responsible for anything.
Uh-huh.
The city's not responsible. He was notified on the night that his vehicle picked up. He was notified in person by Lockhart Police that his vehicle was towed. He knew it was that. The holdup on some of the issue was not that. It wasn't worth, the vehicle wasn't worth the amount that he was willing to pay anyway. So I'll explain it all to you in a little bit if you want me to.
Yeah,
You want me to still say it up here?
I have to go with the ongoing.
Yes,
matter.
investigation, yeah.
I
Yeah,
will,
I'll leave that alone. I'll explain it to you, but
I mean, well, like, if it was like a violation, usually your violations are on there. Like if it's speeding or an infraction or whatever, I mean, that's what, or a crash report, I mean.
correct.
For the towing and stuff, I just wanted to know if the city had to pay or they didn't have to
No, We
pay.
did not have to pay. Towing, whenever your vehicle's towed, if you're arrested or if your vehicle's impounded for a particular reason, you're responsible for that. Usually if your vehicle was stolen before that, your insurance would cover that, the tow bills and everything else. In this particular instance, the person didn't have insurance on his vehicle. It got towed and put in storage, and he was notified that night. Did not go over there to collect it at all. And then we started doing the stuff. We had to find out if there was insurance. We had to contact them and so forth, following up. There was a lot of things.
I do have something. I've talked to a couple of individuals. We spoke previously about this a little bit, and I talked to Adrian about this. About the RV situation in town and the hangars that were leaving for the enforcement of registering your RV in particular. And I know we have a list that we put together for the RVs that are in town. Are we working on that packet still to deliver to the RVs?
Yes.
Because I've had a couple people that told me that they're just confused by the whole matter of the situation. And kind of, when it comes down to it, people start taking things personally. So getting that information to them ASAP before they start getting hangers and understanding why they're getting the hanger. And like, we didn't have the system in place quite yet. So I think it's important to have that system so they understand. And I guess there was some miscommunications there too, where that individuals were trying to call or text or email, figuring out why do I have, so having those systems in place before we start putting hangers on doors or, and you could have a different perspective on it.
Yeah, so the ordinance came through in October.
Sure.
And there was 2 months given before there was a true enforcement taken, which that enforcement was in the form of hangers.
Yep.
So I went around to the ones in the flood first and gave them all the hangers. Now, at that time, and that is what I'm gonna tell you has now been fixed. That particular person, I know who you're talking about, came up here to the offices and was looking for like the statute, if you will, and the permit that's supposed to be filled out. And it wasn't up there with really upfront.
Yeah.
Since that, she now has all that information, so if anybody wanted to come up,
Sure.
and correct me if I'm wrong, but if anybody wanted to come up, she can print them out for them and give them to.
Yeah.
Now, as far as the list is throughout the whole city,
Hmm.
all the RVs in.
Sure.
And it's on an Excel sheet where you can basically filter out, okay, I only want to see the people that are in the floodplain.
Cool.
Boom, it's there.
Great.
I don't want to see people in the floodplain, you can filter that out. And I even get it to where it's the type of RV that's in there, it's fifth wheel, travel trailer, whatever it may be, you can filter it through that. Took me a little bit to make it.
Do you have the floodway also, or just floodplain?
The flood.
You don't break it down floodway?
So I go up the CAD. Now, the
Okay.
CAD, you have the deer build, and then you have the other one, which.
Floodplain.
Yes, they're both separated on that.
Are you,
But I don't have any in the actual, like, floodplain. All the ones that I saw were in the here.
is there any in the floodway?
No, I have not seen.
Yeah, well, I mean, I've seen some that move in and out of it, but it's not
Yeah,
permanent.
none
Yeah,
that are there
Mhm.
permanent, that are
Yeah.
there for.
not permanent, but, and I guess the other, issue, or not issue, but the other, concern that I want to talk about, and I talked with you about that, was it was a $50 registration fee per year for the RVs, is that correct? It just kind of seems a little, for me, if I had an RV sitting here and hey, you gotta give us $50 a year now to have this RV here. And if I had the RV here for the last 10 years, I'm gonna be like, why do I have to give you $50 to register my RV that's sitting on my property, So I kind of think maybe new registrations, after we have the list promulgated or situated in stone, if somebody wants to come register a new RV, I think it's fair to charge for that registration, but I feel like we should have a grandfather's situation. I don't know, maybe that makes sense.
Fortunately, we voted, for that.
Yeah, yeah.
For that already, so.
But it's something that we could talk about after, in retrospect.
I get it, and I understand what you're saying, but there is a cost. One of the reasons why we're charging is that there's a notification system to make sure that we're notifying that these people are going to be able to move the item, the vehicle, and if they're not, then the city knows to take care of it for them.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? That's the premise, and I've talked to people from FEMA, the Charm Workshop, and it's the same concept. Having that is like a requirement. It's something that everyone should
Oh, yeah,
have
for
to
sure.
do. When I talked to them about that, they were like, that's awesome. It's like,
Oh,
that's the right thing to
100%,
do.
yeah,
And so there has to be a cost of some ilk for us to, do the logistics of not letting them float down the river. So maybe you don't like the amount, maybe,
Yeah,
maybe that's too high, maybe. We could discuss it, obviously, but
seems.
I do believe there has to be something.
Yeah,
because
no,
there
I
is
do
work
too.
involved.
I do too. I think that obviously there's work involved, but
So,
at first somebody told me it was 85 and I was like, whoa, a year?
no, I know.
Yeah, and I was like, I couldn't recall that, so I called it. But I still feel.
It's in the ordinance.
Yeah.
That was passed.
Or is the correspondence with that individual? I would call, get a message, 3 days later. I don't carry the phone. So,
Totally get it. Yeah,
I work here once a week.
totally
I
get
have
it.
other responsibilities.
Mhm.
I don't receive on call pay. I don't want to. I was on call for 20 years.
Yeah,
And I don't want to do that. And I don't charge a city anything. It's not what I'm about. So when I would see that he turned the phone calls, it was several days later.
yeah,
And I would try to text. The email that I received, I kicked back. It wasn't a good email.
mhm,
So it was just a lot of back and forth and back.
mhm.
I document everything, even with the email I sent, I kick back, I document everything.
Yeah, I appreciate you.
Yeah, I think it would be helpful, like, for those that are, because if you're not on call, like, I'm there at city offices this day, from this hour to this hour. I'm not at the office, but I can return your call at, you know, my,
Even with that, with correspondence, I didn't know who would be in the city.
yeah.
Even with the people that I've met on 1979 regarding the trash that we can cancel. I'm gonna be in the city at this time. Let me know if I can come talk to you. I let them know.
But your hours aren't set here. They're just, okay.
A lot of it has to do with my family and my family situation.
Yeah.
And customers.
Okay. Another thing, I think you may know about it, but I know that I received a phone call and it was from a citizen. And they're one of the ones that are having, you know, the house problems on their property and stuff. And she was like very upset because of a fine that was mentioned to her, that she was gonna be fined this amount. And it just seemed like there was fear instilled in her. Did you get the same thing?
Yeah, I just don't think there was a clear understanding, and I don't know if there's a communication gap there as well, but I mean, I looked at the door hanger and there's nothing on the hanger saying that there would be a fine, and there's no fine in place or threading a time limit on that, but I don't know what correspondence she had with anybody else either, so.
Or
I know
who
what
she
you're-
talked to?
Yeah,
I mean, I know what you're speaking about. And myself and Officer Sanchez went to visit her the initial time. Gave it to her. I have never told anybody I encountered that there's gonna be a fine, you better do this or else I don't work.
She said it was a council member.
So,
She didn't say it was you or you. She said it was a council member.
as I went back. For our conversation, as long as there's progress being made, she has a dumpster on the property. They're trying, and you can tell, they don't have them.
Yeah.
They're trying to do what they can.
Let me clarify something. We as a council person, that's none of our business. We can't tell any citizen about a fine. That's not our business. Our business is strictly passing ordinances. You guys do that, not us.
Or fear mongering.
And we don't impose fines.
That's-
I think I explained that to at our last city council meeting, and I'll explain it again. I talked to a couple of you guys over the phone about this. We'll go out and give them warning. If we see that there's progress being made, we're not gonna go back and mess with them. You know, maybe encourage them, but not mess with them at all. And it's not for us. Our job is not to even impose the fine. Our job is to go out there over time and say, okay, you haven't done anything at this point in time. We're gonna go ahead and issue a citation. And that'll come after some communication and everything else. We'll probably issue a written warning first. Because the door hanger's not even a written warning, that's just communication. And so we'll probably issue a written warning first. We've done that before at a house up at Westridge.
And then the communication that's sent out or door hangers, is it in English and in Spanish? And then do you speak Spanish?
Somewhat, but they don't speak.
Poquito?
I can communicate with them. I communicated with her, didn't have any issues.
I'm just not talking about her. I'm talking about just if there's somebody in general that if there happens to be a language barrier.
I haven't had any kind of issue. There are no fines on that. Everybody I've encountered, whether it's on 1979 style or throughout the city, I always tell them, as long as there's progress being made, I can see there's progress being made, then I can work with you. No, there is no
Have y'all
progress
seen
being
one of
made.
those?
And a month or two later, then we take the next step.
And this phone number that's on here, this is to the office or that's your number?
So when I hand them out, my card is attached to that.
Gotcha.
That's the office, but he attaches his card with his cell phone.
I was gonna ask you about historic structures that are either dilapidated or not being cared for. There's several that are probably within a stone's throw of this building, but there's also another one at the very end of 1979, the big two-story house there, the old Bagley house. And you look up top and there's a window broken up in the attic up there. And so that window needs to be covered or secured because it's on the north side of the house. And then also the rain could get in from that side. But I know that when our previous code enforcer was here, that he had certain buildings also close to us here that he deemed were unlivable or dilapidated and need to be torn down. I don't know if that's a part of the
Sam,
5 buildings.
That's a whole nother subject that is being worked. Jared's working with code enforcement, and so it's really, you're getting ahead of us.
But then I see homes that are being fixed up, say on the weekend or whatever, that may have been declared bad and now they're fixing them up or whatever. I mean, is there any time that you could spend on the weekend here to see what goes on
I
here?
can come on
He does come
weekends
on weekends.
because that's the best to contact people. Now, as the mayor said, Jared is already aware, we have homes. I don't know.
I supplied that last week, our last city council meeting as well, so the main house is going to address. And how we want to go about it, we need to get with the attorney, and there's things that need to move forward on that.
So were we gonna discuss if we're gonna take the route of going through municipal court, or were we gonna go through the,
It's not the subject of the
Okay,
chief's report.
how much more time would you need a week to work here? Do you have more time? Do you think you
I give
need
you all
more?
the time.
Huh?
I give you all the time.
One day a week is your max of
It just
being,
depends on the week. Again, I have personal stuff. I need to-
And plus, we would.
And plus,
we
that's
talked
our
about
budget.
Our budget, there's a budget to that.
Yeah.
That goes on with that.
okay.
But bottom line, you guys are making progress.
Yes.
If you make
I
progress,
have pictures of all 1979 when we started, when I started contacting. And if you compare them to now, you can see there's significant progress.
oh, great, and I believe you're handling it right. Talk to people and we don't want to.
But unfortunately, with the personnel before me, I have nothing to go off of. There was no documentation of anything. If you did keep documentation, I don't know where it's at.
Starting.
So I had to start from.
Takes time.
Yeah.
Takes time. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you all.
We really appreciate the
Go
report.
home and get some rest.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, James, for
Yeah.
coming in special for us.
Thank you, James.
We
Appreciate it.
appreciate it.
Anytime.
You did tell me that I can log in through Zoom.
Yes. Yes,
Y'all can send me that.
yes.
Anytime you need any assistance getting in the canoe,
I'm gonna give them a call.
no, yeah, anytime.
Okay, we're gonna move forward to new business. The first item is to talk about the $5,000 matching for a grant. And I'm gonna turn that over to the chair.
Yeah, so we received an invoice, a portion of which is required under the matching component for the city's responsibility under the grant for this is for the comprehensive strategic plan, comprehensive plan. So what we're looking for today is approval to expend the funds according to that matching threshold.
So do we have a motion? This is for the community development block grant. Wastewater improvement.
Oh, the wastewater improvement one? Oh, it's, okay, so that's the wastewater treatment plant expansion grant for the upgraded irrigation and lift station upgrades.
I'll do it. I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to accept expenditure of $5,000 for Texas General Land Office, GLO, Community Development Block Grant, GCDBG wastewater improvement matching component.
And do we have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, we have a motion and a second. Is there any discussion?
Can you tell everyone what the total grant amount is on this?
It was $500,000.
Yeah,
500,000.
500,000.
Okay. We have a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, 3.2. We're gonna talk about the bicycle rodeo, whether we want to do it, and also if we can use up to $1,000 to buy helmets from the Child Safety Fund. And I did go back to the top of the report that Dwayne gave, and there is about $9,000 in that. So I'm gonna let Sonia talk about this because it's her baby.
Yeah, so last year was our first bicycle rodeo, and with that amount sitting in the fund, I mean, I think it's worthwhile to just make sure that our kids in the community, young adults, that they have a helmet, and that's something that's near and dear also to the mayor's heart, because she knows firsthand about how falling off a bike can be detrimental, and so it's just through testimony, and I'm glad that she's an advocate for it, and her husband did so much for the biking community, which I'm very appreciative for, and I could say that I admire that about her. And so yeah, I wanted to end my term here on city council. Of course, I would still help in any capacity, because I mean, I am community oriented. So I've already gotten permission from Carlton Carl. We can go ahead and use the silo area like we did for the safety stations. The first station would be the helmets, where they get fitted with the helmets. Last time our police department helped out with that. And then there was another station where they would check the pressure in the tires and just the overall, looking at the bike, making sure the brakes work properly. And then Adrian was very helpful in setting up the obstacle course and learning how to look both ways and stop. So Adrian was extremely helpful in that. And, it was just about safety. So it was everybody was involved, and a lot of kids were able to get helmets that day. The last part was they would go through a bubble machine and all the bubbles. So it was really nice. This year we have 4 bikes that are being donated. Our family is going to be donating a bike. Mikey Zapata is going to be donating a bike. We have Kent Wymore, who's going to be donating a bike. Who is the 4th one?
I mean, I said I was gonna donate a bike, but
I think we have there.
put anything in writing.
I can't remember. All right. So I think, yeah, so I think we're gonna have 4 bikes. So all the kids that come, they'll put their name in a drawing, and then somebody could walk away with the brand new bike. I've already gotten in contact with Judge De Leon. She's gonna come here to the city offices, and she's gonna have she gave little backpacks away last time with some safety materials in there. And then we also have a constable who's gonna be here doing the kid IDs for safety for their parents, kind of like kid ID. So we'll have that going along with the library and what they're going to be doing.
And our police department.
And then our police department. And also, I was going to talk to the mayor about, I'm so appreciative to Councilmember Mr. McGovern, because he's going to be in charge of rounding up the ESDs. And hopefully we'll have some fire trucks, we'll have some police cars. That way the kids could also meet the ESDs and get to know their police officers. So thank you for helping me with that. And Dorothy last time, she volunteered all day. So and the mayor, it truly was a team effort. So I think this would be really good.
The city did provide hot dogs, chips, and lemonade.
And then I've already created the flyer. You can look at it and see if this is something that will be good. If you want to change it, we could change it. And then also, what we could do is, of course, I would want the council members here, if you could be here. Last year, we did give away some bright safety, green, shirts that we gave away also. That way, if you're riding your bike, or your scooter, that you could be visible, and we could do that again this year. Or if y'all don't want to do t-shirts, we don't have to do t-shirts. We could just do whatever y'all want to do. I'll just help out and donate a bike.
Okay. Yes, do we have a motion to do the rodeo?
I'll make a motion. Make a motion to set the Martindale Bicycle Rodeo on May 18th and approve the expenditure of no more than 1,000 from the Child Safety Restricted Fund for the purpose of the event.
I'll second that.
Okay,
And do we want to set the next weekend just in case if it's rained out, or we won't set another date?
oh, we could.
Or
We
rain
could have
date?
the
Did y'all
following
wanna do a
weekend
rain
as a
date?
rain day, just in case.
Just in case.
Yeah, maybe put something in there.
Yes, okay.
Yeah, we're just
Okay.
already covered. And then the library is going to be a part of it as well, so it's gonna be a whole effort.
It's
Yes.
a good thing, protect those noggins.
That's right.
Ashley will be having, activities and be reading books. I'm not sure if an officer is gonna come in. I'm not sure exactly, but she will be.
We're still working it out.
We're still working it out, but yeah, the library will be open for, safety information and just, crafts for the kids to do.
This all happened on Kite Day. We were standing around watching the beautiful kites and planning this event.
And then, thanks to Mike McLeod, because he's gonna pop wheelies and, jump on a ramp. Kidding, Mike.
Yeah, I'll get on the bike. I used to. I'm
Dunk,
a
tank, dunk.
Good job.
I was a distance.
There you go. No, everybody come ride your bikes and, be, mentors for those, that'll be here.
Okay, and can we amend your motion then to add the rain date the following weekend?
Yeah.
Is that
We leave it
okay?
open, just say rain date if needed, or
We'll just set it and we always come back and change.
whatever you think. Mr.
Yeah, I'll make I'll amend the motion to include a
Rain.
rain date, for just keep it open,
Okay, we'll. just
open date.
keep it Open. Okay. All right, we have a motion and a second. All those in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, motion carries.
Adrian, and if you want to keep that flyer, I could I just did it on Canva, but if you want to do something else, we can, but if we can also just go live with it on the city webpage whenever it's done.
Whenever you're ready,
Yeah, I'm good, yeah.
just send me a digitized version of it so it comes as a clean copy.
Okay.
Okay, our last item of business, because the election is, our next meeting is scheduled for May 4th, which is, oh no, the election day is May 4th. Well, it's just a few days before that, then the 2nd. And so we can't canvass the election until after the election has happened. So we're looking at different dates. I'm going to be out of town from May 4th through May 11th. So I was asking for Monday, the 13th, or whatever the council decides. If I'm out of town, then Sonia will conduct the election, or conduct a special meeting. But for a special meeting to canvass the election, we have to have 4 city council people and the attorney. So what date is gonna work?
Can you zoom in? Would that be adequate?
I think they have to be physically here. That's
Preferably.
the law.
It's definitely the majority has to be here.
4 out of the 5 have to be.
What day can?
You should be unmuted. Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Question to you, Ken,
Can you hear me?
is availability on May 13th and 14th.
Let me look at my calendar. Thirteenth or 14th worked.
Of May,
Yes.
to canvass the election. It shouldn't take very long. So we would have a
That's
city council on the 2nd and the 16th, the normal ones. But we need a special election just to canvass the election. And it has to take place between the 7th and the 15th. So that's after our normal election and before the next one. So the 13th or the 14th, Ken?
You do both.
Either one.
You guys can pick whichever one works better for you.
So Monday or Tuesday, which works better for any of you?
Either way for me.
Either way, I think.
Monday or Tuesday.
Whichever one. It'll work, Monday or Tuesday. Doesn't-
It's just on Monday.
Okay, we'll do Monday, the 13th. Okay, can I
Okay,
have
Uh, yes, I'll make a motion to go ahead and, set the date for a Monday, May 13th
at 6:30?
at 6:30 PM.
Second.
Okay, Sonia, and then a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, the motion carries. And then can I have a motion to adjourn?
I was gonna, but are you still on?
Yes, ma'am, I'm here.
Hey, cause I mentioned your name earlier, cause you did say you were gonna donate a bike.
Absolutely.
Can you bring it that day?
Yeah, it's on May 13th.
Yes, since we're having the bicycle rodeo on the 18th.
No pressure.
Okay, and hold on real
Or you
quick.
can look into it earlier.
Okay, and you said you wanted an adult 10-speed trek.
No, I did not.
No, no.
But.
That's fine.
Carbon fiber.
Yeah, that day'll work.
Oh, and then I remembered who else. It's gonna be Kent, it's gonna be Bud, me, Carlton, Mikey Zapata, so those are the four.
Bikes and kids.
Okay, can I have a motion to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn at 8:07 PM.
Second.
Okay, and all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.